Welcome in, everybody. We're going to cover Jack and Lily for a second here because we haven't talked about Jack and Lily in the last week or so with baby Emmanuel. It's been crazy. And I just want to do a reading on what the RCMP are up to in Jack and Lily in Jack and Lily's case. Um, but first, I want to cover a few videos. And before even all that, I at the very onset, want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We just went over 5,000. That was a grind to get here um, since April, I guess, of 2024. So thank you, everybody who stuck with me. Welcome in all the newbies, and just cannot say thanks enough. And thank you to the wonderful mods who help support the channel and show up for the lives, and to anybody and everybody who's bought a reading from me, sent a super sticker or PayPal donation. I cannot say thank you enough, or even joined the membership. It's $1.99 a month. So to all of you, everybody, and even those that can't afford any of that, but you show up and you like and you subscribe, that means the world to me. So thank you. But let's talk about Jack and Lily. I know when we were busy covering Emmanuel that the police came out, court documents came out, and in the documents and in the articles that came out, the stories that came out, it's said that the RCMP don't have any evidence, and nor do they believe this is a crime. In other words, they are trying to pitch the narrative that the kids simply just got up and walked out the back door. I don't believe that they actually believe that. Do you all think they actually believe that? Um, I know. A lot of people, and I'm Canadian, a lot of people have relied, or reminded me, rather, I should say, on me not relying on the RCMP's quality of work and the stature that they hold in the East Coast, out particularly in Pictou County in Nova Scotia. A lot of people have reminded me not to rely on, I'm in, not anymore, but I was in Ottawa, the capital of Canada, and that is where, the RCMP manage the federal political things, all things federal, and they do have a pretty good reputation, or at least they used to, in my humble opinion, in Canada. But I've been told that not so great is the reputation out on the East Coast. That they never solved Dylan Ether, which I still want to get to a reading on. They flubbed up a case of a massacre of 22 people. I don't know anything about that, so I apologize. But that maybe they are not as brilliant on the East Coast as I was giving them credit for. What do you think? You tell me. But one thing that I can't let go of is that they really cannot possibly effing believe that these kids walked out the door. So what are they doing and what are they up to? That's what the cards are going to reveal. But I also want to just state for the RCMP, just to really consider that in Canada, it's already bad enough that the RCMP are accused of really not giving cases their all when it comes to missing Native people. And I hate to throw that card out there. I'm not one of those people. I'm really not. But I just hope that that's not the case here. And if it is, what does that mean and why? Because I have to believe that they truly want to find Jack and Lily. But sometimes the reserves and their way of life, and maybe trying to be respectful of that, could come into play. Yeah, also, there's a lot of people that are drunk all the time on reservations and drugs, and that's just factual, not prejudicial. and there's a poverty there that's horrific and inexcusable, but maybe they're not reliable. I really don't know what the stigma is, why it exists, that it has been said for missing Aboriginal people, especially women, not children so much, but that they really just turn a blind eye. And I really don't know why. So I really hope to gosh that that's not the case, because that's not a look the RCMP want to have. That is absolutely not a look that they want to have. So it doesn't mean that that's what's going on. Just to be clear, I'm just saying I don't believe that they would deliberately. I don't believe that they really, really think these kids walked out the back door. That's what I'm saying. And let's watch this video. Let's see what these news court documents also told us, because there's another element in there that I want to do a reading on, which is really curious as to why it wasn't really highlighted in the article. And that's a witness that saw two kids the morning of May 2nd. Now, she didn't describe them as quite as accurately as, in the sense that it wouldn't be a full match to Jack and Lily, in that they sounded like she thought they were maybe older, but it's pretty rural. So if to see a boy and a girl getting into the back seat of a woman's 56-year-old woman's gray car on the same morning, if that was actually true, then why would they consider this a cold case? You know, just because they haven't been able to substantiate it anymore or yet doesn't mean it's not valid. So I want to see what's really going on, because I'm not sure that we're really getting accurate media coverage here on what's really happening in the background. Something's off. Let's watch this, and then I'm going to pull cards.
Daniel Martel has known since the day Jack and Lily disappeared that he was a suspect. He's been their stepfather for more than 2 years, living together in this trailer. Martel says that's why he has fully cooperated with police.
Everything from my phone, doing a polygraph exam, and just ask them to do, here you go, search everything, do everything you can for the kids, right?
Freshly unsealed court documents detail how RCMP combed through bank records, phone data, and GPS locations. Investigators wanted to know the exact whereabouts of Martel and the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, in the days leading up to the children's disappearance, and cross-reference that information with the statements they gave to police. The documents reveal that as of July 16th, investigators did not believe the case was criminal. By that point, 6 polygraph tests had been done, including on both Brooks Murray and Martel. They were also done on Martel's mother, on Brooks Murray's mother and her partner, and on the children's biological father. Brooks Murray was given a polygraph in what police describe as an effort to eliminate her as a suspect in causing her children's disappearance and possible murder. She passed, and so did Martel.
They've done a full background check, as much as they could possibly do, and I mean, I'm pretty thankful for them.
Now, you're definitely not getting the full story here, and we know that because it's not that Daniel and Malaya didn't pass and Cody passed, but what we don't hear yet, and I don't think they tell us in this clip, is Janie didn't quite pass and was not reliable because of some substance or something that was in. I don't know what it means. Maybe we'll investigate that a little bit further. But you guys have been following me. If you have been following me and listening, that what my thoughts are around Janie's involvement in this, and so that's very interesting. That's interesting.
To spend the time and spend the resources to try to figure out everything.
An extensive search on Martel's property and the surrounding 8.5 square kilometers has turned up only a few clues. One was a boot print matching Lily's size 11 feet. Another was a pink blanket hanging from a tree found by family members of the children's mother. A piece of blanket was also seized from a garbage bin at the end of the family's driveway. Martel says it was the same blanket, but it had been ripped apart and thrown out.
I mean, it's mysterious as it is, because the distance from the garbage bin to where the blanket was found is almost 1 kilometer.
RCMP have previously said Lily's blanket was sent for forensic analysis. To date, police have received 740 tips and more than 9,300 videos, and say a tremendous amount of careful, deliberate, investigative work is ongoing.
Ongoing. So, I mean, I guess they're suggesting they haven't given up. If everything is still ongoing, they haven't given up, right? The other thing that could be going on here is this to save embarrassing themselves publicly, because they did take the parents' word for it at the beginning. They did go and search in that back in the woods for quite an extensive period of time, following the parents' narrative, which could be true that the kids just walked out the back. But I just did a poll on my channel here. Let me just see if we've got results yet. But I just don't think, maybe they missed in the investigation, and in the sense that they didn't get to, because they believed the family story. 95% of you, let me just show you, because of the family story, maybe they didn't. Now we only have, how many people answered? 81 votes. Well, that's decent. 95% of you do not think Jack and Lily walked off the property on their own. Well, let me show you that. Forgot to show you that. 95% of 81 votes do not think that they. So in other words, who are the RCMP kidding? Who are the RCMP kidding? We don't think they walked off on their own. So why are the RCMP being silly enough to spin that narrative that people aren't going to buy, people aren't going to believe? Or are we just more, in the true crime community, more aware of the facts? It's just curious. It's really curious. So I don't really know yet. I want to read you a few more facts. Why they didn't make mention of Janie. That, well, I shouldn't have to tell you that was the lovely CBC, which are notorious for protecting the federal government, and the RCMP are the federal government. That's their boss, okay? So the Royal Mounted Police, right? So I don't really know, but let's read this, go through some more details that have been uncovered, and then pull some cards. But so this was an article that was written August 23rd at 11:33 p.m. So 2 days ago, and just over two days and 2 hours ago. New details in this case, in the case of missing siblings Lily and Jack Sullivan. Just noticing they spell it with one L. I thought Malaya posted it was two L's. Anyways, we're releasing court documents, including the results of the polygraph test administered to the parents. The siblings disappeared from their home in rural Nova Scotia on May 2nd, prompting weeks of searches by law enforcement through dense forest. The court filings show at least 4 polygraph examinations were conducted by investigators, and that initial polygraph for the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, and stepfather, Daniel Martel, had indicated truthful answers, according to the Friday report from CTV News. Newsweek has reached out to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police via email during non-working hours Saturday for comment. Why it matters. The case of Lily 6 and Jack 4 has drowned international attention after they were reported missing from their home in rural Lansdowne, Nova Scotia, earlier this year. The release of court documents sheds light on investigative steps taken by the RCMP, including forensic testing and wide-range record requests. I clarified that investigators have not assembled reasonable grounds to treat the disappearance as criminal, and clarified that investigators have not established reasonable grounds to treat the disappearance as criminal. Well, that is an interesting, that's a different narrative than the CBC posted. They have yet to prove it, not that they don't believe it, right? There's a distinction between those two messages. And this is more what I believe to be the truth. That doesn't mean they don't believe there's a criminal element. They have just yet to prove it. But again, stick with me, and we're going to figure out what the real situation is with the cards. So what to know is that the children were first reported missing at 10:01 a.m. May 2nd, with the police arriving at the home shortly thereafter at 10:27 a.m. Surveillance footage showed the children with Brooks, Murray, and Martell outside a local Dollarama the day prior. The couple told investigators that the siblings had possibly slipped out of the sliding door as the parents slept in another room with their infant child. According to the court records cited by CTV, Brooks, Murray, and Martell were first given polygraphs on May 12th. The couple were then given subsequent polygraph tests 3 more times during the investigation. In each session, Brooks, Murray, and Martell's results indicated they were telling the truth, according to the report. Additionally, the children's biological father, Cody Sullivan, was given a polygraph on June 12th, and his answers were truthful, the document said. The children's step-grandmother was also considered for a polygraph exam on June 10th. However, her physiology was not suitable for analysis. What does that mean? Was Janie a little doped up or drunk or what? On medication? That's really curious. Was not suitable for analysis, and an opinion on the polygraph examination was not rendered, according to the report. The court filings also listed the items that were seized by investigators. They include the children's toothbrushes, a sock, pieces of pink blanket that the family confirmed belonged to Lily, with one piece in a tree near the home, and another piece later found in a trash bag at the end of the driveway, according to the CTV report. Well, near a home, we just heard Daniel say it was a kilometer away. What's the police saying about that? Like, how do they rationalize that? How do they explain that the pink blanket being in a tree, that piece of it, the remnant of it, if there's no foul play? It's just so bizarro. It just blew there. I mean, Daniel seems to think, if you believe Daniel, and he's innocent, as this article seems to suggest, is being truthful, and he believes it's there, is curious, the fact that it's there. What about that? Where are we investigating that? So something's not adding up here. There's more going on behind the scenes, which we'll find out when I pull the cards. That pink blanket was found about less than a mile away in the woods by family members on the day the siblings were reported missing. Investigators also examined clumps of boot prints in 2 sizes that were found in nearby woods. 2 sizes. This is the first we hear of that. Examined clumps of boot prints in 2 sizes that were found nearby in the woods. Listen, I said they were being walked to the woods to be met, where they would be picked up by ATV or a car or something. And I wanted to also reiterate that vision of Uncle Larry was substantiated again. So I really firmly believe in that vision that I had. And if you don't know, well, I had a vision early on. I reported to the RCMP of seeing somebody walking Jack and Lily. But I think you can go and check that out on the playlist. I think it's documented as a vision. So listen, the documents showed investigators sought multiple court orders, including requests for cell phone records, banking records, highway video surveillance, and drivers leaving Nova Scotia between May 1st and 3rd. They also recorded receipts of hundreds of public tips and a witness account of 2 children walked towards a tan or gold sedan on May 2nd. Well, that is very interesting. That is very interesting. A tan sedan. What are people saying? An unidentified investigator wrote in the court documents cited by CTV News, at this point in the investigation, Jack and Lily's disappearance is not believed to be criminal in nature. Well, there we have it. So we are saying it's not believed to be criminal in nature. I do not have reasonable grounds to believe a criminal offense has occurred. Because Jack and Lily are still missing, polygraph examinations were conducted with the intention of ruling out that possibility. Linda Gray, the grandparents' paternal grandmother, told the Globe and Mail earlier this month, just what did CPS do? What part of were they investigating? What were their concerns? And where were they doing? They may even have the answers for the investigation on what happens to them or why it might have what might have happened to them. The RCMP maintained that they had not ruled out any scenario while the files were being assessed under the Missing Persons Act. They had not ruled out any scenario. The RCMP asked that anyone with information contact the Northeast Nova Scotia Major Crime Unit investigations. Investigators continue to encourage tips as they assess forensic results and witness accounts. Okay, so they're not done yet. So, they're still investigating. A lot of fanfare. The case, I think they're just gonna wait to see. I think reading between the lines, I'm hearing, they haven't ruled it out. They just can't prove it. So they're still trying to investigate, and they're still, looking for leads. So, you know, I can tell you that that vision that I had is just, it's not a make up story. And I believe that there is absolutely some sort of connection to what I saw in their disappearance. So let's go see what the cards have to say now. Okay, everybody. Hopefully you can still all hear me. Let me just make sure. Yes, you can. I think my earbuds are working. Okay, let's see what the RCMP are up to here, y'all. This is Bizarro, Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, everybody. Okay, so listen, I know a lot of you complain if I don't show the cards that flip. You're gonna have to trust me. Okay, what are they up to? Death. Well, I only picked the flippers. Danger. What are they up to? This case. Legal proceedings. Ooh. Okay, so they're being cautious around the death of Jack and Lily before they proceed legally. They're being cautious before they proceed legally. That's interesting and phenomenally good news. So again, are they telling us it's completely cold? I don't believe so. I think they're saying we just don't have the evidence to prove what we may suspect. We just don't have the evidence yet to prove. Okay, what's going on here with the RCMP, Jack and Lily? This is in reverse. They were not trafficked or kidnapped because this came out in reverse. Or not kidnapped, rather, not trafficked. They do believe there's some fraud going on the story. What are the RCMP up to with Jack and Lily? No perversion. So there we go. No trafficking, no perversion. Okay, so they don't believe there's a pedophile out there. Okay, they are proceeding very slowly around the death of Jack and Lily in any legal proceeding, but I think they do believe there was some sort of element of lying or, some element of crime going on. Fear that there was some abuse going on in the home. That's the thing we got to remember. I mean, CPS was coming out. I mean, what was CPS coming out for? Surely that has got to hold some water with some of the obvious concerns for the kids. Let's just wait. That one did want to come out. Financial gain, usually coming from something you did in the past. There we go. We've talked about this before. There's some sort of element of finances here. What's going on with these kids? I do believe that they think that they're dead, right? Believe that they're deceased, that they were in some danger. Maybe they were afraid of the abuse in the home. They know that there's some fraudulent going on, that maybe there was legal proceedings going on with the divorce because there was a fear in the home. There's two ways to read this. Sorrow over loss. So I think they do believe they're gone. That somebody has some mental health issues, because this is a journey mentally, physically, or mentally. So they're either far away from the home or somebody's got some mental health problems. Fingers pointing. Okay, I think they're be careful to finger point. They're being careful to not point fingers. They're being careful. They don't believe there was trafficking involved or any kind of pedophilia or perversion. They do not believe a sexual offender took these children. What else do the police know on this case? Or what are they up to? I also want to do, was Janie too doped up to pass? And what this witness is if there's any credibility to this witness. I'm going to do the credibility of the witness as another reading. Three of Pentacles. They do believe there was some collaboration going on, and they're having a hard time creating a theory and lining things up. They're having a hard time lining their theories up. Okay, but they do believe there was some organization going on, collaboration with the disappearance of Jack and Lily, with the parents. Look at that, y'all. And somebody's not being honest around the young children, the young knaves, children. Okay, y'all. See? Y'all, I was getting a little worried, being a little bit negative at the beginning of this, thinking, God, what is going on? There's a public statement, and there's, being careful not to pursue something without evidence. Those are distinctly different attitudes and tones around the case. Anomaly. We've had this before, a one-off situation. So I want to know if they think, yes, well, this case is an anomaly. This case is an anomaly because how often do two kids go missing? This entire case is an anomaly. And I think that has them rattled because, people just don't normally take two kids. Okay, let's see what else. What's going on with the police, RCMP? Up to? What are they up to in the Jack and Lily case? They're still investigating. There's a delay in the transformation of this case. There's a delay. I think they're stuck right now. There's a delay in being able to connect the dots, to come up with a theory that connects and weaves this case together. It's a delay. There's a delay in transforming this case. Yes, there's a delay to getting justice right now. Okay, there's a delay to enter justice. Let's see what else we can get. What is up with the RCMP? I'm gonna get a couple more, and then I want to see what's going on with Janie and why she did or didn't wasn't able to take that polygraph test, and then I think I'll do a separate reading on the woman that was seen when they were getting in the van, the witness. Okay, Janie here. Let's get one more on what they're up to. Let's get one more on what they're up to. Which deck do I want to use? Let's get one more on what they're up to here, and then I'm going to move to Janie, and then we're going to do another reading. What are the RCMP up to with Jack and Lily? They're not. Yin is like doing nothing. Yang is action. Yin is things coming to you. They're not settling idly. If it was upright, it'd be they're just doing nothing. Yin, they're letting things pass by them. They're doing nothing, but it's in reverse. They are not doing nothing. They are still actively investigating. They are still actively investigating. Okay, let's find out. Janie. Why am I so not surprised? Why am I so not surprised? Okay, what was going on with Janie that made her polygraph results unreliable? She wasn't physically able to. Mirage, desert. Was she high? Was she seeing things? Was she too hot? Like, what was going on? No, wrong way. Why were they not? They were not able to get results from her. Female. I wonder if that's the story that did she? No, because it's court documents. But Mirage makes it look like there's a story that's not accurate around this about Janie. Like that she maybe just failed. Like she said that they're hiding the fact that she actually failed. But there's a story, a mirage around her polygraph and why that's the case. Let's just see if that's really what's going on. And why are they saying her body wasn't able to take it instead of saying she failed? We've got neglect and abuse. Jeez, Worfy. Plot twist. Hidden plot twist. Hidden plot twist. What's going on with Janie? I'm really going to get some more to clarify, but I'm really sensing that she didn't really pass. And this is just the story, maybe to protect her. But now and maybe they haven't told her the truth. Maybe they haven't told her the truth. This is a hidden plot twist, a hidden new direction that the police are taking because they haven't told her that it was inconclusive. Rather, maybe they suspect she took something to try to, there's things you can do to try to pass a polygraph, take substances or whatever. Maybe that's what was going on. And so that's really got them thinking. I don't know. I want to get more on this. What is going on with Janie and the polygraph? Those are very interesting cards. What's going on with Janie and the polygraph? What's going on with Janie and the polygraph? Revelation. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Fire. Oh my God. There is something. Look at this mirage and look at this fire. There is something that was revealed in Janie's polygraph that has a plot twist, a hidden plot twist that has them looking, I think, at her. I'm going to say it. That's just my theory. That's what I'm picking up. That's what I'm picking up. Let's get some more on Janie's polygraph. Janie's polygraph. Maybe that's why the witness's account doesn't matter. Let's see. I'm going to do a reading on that next. Rescue. One ring circus. Not a one ring circus. Oh. Was Janie the one to try to rescue the kids from this situation with Jack and Lily? Remember we talked about somebody offering them help to take the kids out of their lives potentially, or at least Daniel's or whatnot. Not a one ring circus. So they think that she maybe had help. That she maybe had help because it's not a one ring circus. One ring circus. I think they think she's involved somehow with removing the kids from the property, taking the kids off the property. She may provide them with the details they need to solve this case. She may have inadvertently lied and got caught and providing them with the details. Let's get more. Yes, absolutely. That's what's happening. Let's get one more. That's your yes card. Boom. She inadvertently said something or didn't pass, or somehow they said she wasn't qualified to pass, but somehow there was something that was said that gave them new insight, a new revelation that will help solve this case potentially. That's what I'm getting. Tell me what you think. Do the likey things, please. All the YouTubes. I appreciate you for being here. Love and light. See you in the next reading.